parcialmente, ya les voy a explicar, pero estamos en camino de este año que viene. Queremos, sí, exacto. Una día donde vos puedas ver todo el código, está todo transparente, pero pasa en la, sí, la wallet. Pero de acá te vas, que vas a poder vos integrar Cardano con esto. Ese es el objetivo. Espera, sí, sí. Let's start.
Possible maybe touch or to the receiver and transmitter.
For me?
No, no, I mean, put that with the roads. That's what I did last year.
Thank you. Wait, do you want to move this closer? Yes, good, good. But should we wait for you?
No.
Okay, vamos. Sí.
Ulises, necesito que vaya al envío un file, ¿no?
Ujú.
Un pedazo corto, lo que van a hacer, yo sé qué es lo que van a hacer. Voy y vuelvo.
Bueno, pero vamos a aplicar sintaxis.
Y vuelvo, te digo.
Bueno, dale, dale. Hecho, hecho. Dale. Let's go. Go. Let's start. Let's continue. Guys. Let's start. Okay. Guys, let's continue. Right? So we're going to learn now the syntax, right? The rules on how to write on this language. Mark, you want to move? Okay. So you're now familiar with this code. For those who know, now something that we have not said more clearly before, it's JSON. For those who know what JSON is, this data format for express data. Yeah, you language is fully very. So, as here, this is called JSON script DSL. Your wallet is done through scripts coded in a JSON. This domain specific language is called. Tested before, this connection was from the DApp, from the directional, just one. But if Martin would want to, much deeper into JSON, which is it's not difficult, but like on on every language, you have to stop expressing things with some tokens, some characters, and then you have to also close some uh, wraps, right? Some functions or blocks or whatever. Every expression you do, you have to close it with another character. For example, on JSON, you use these characters for opening and closing objects on JSON. This is an object, okay, on JSON. So uh, maybe I'm not going to explain too much JSON. No, wait there, Martin. I mean, no, stay there. So maybe I'm not going to talk too much about JSON, but keep this in mind. A function, another is expressed by opening these brackets and closing these brackets here. The first part here of this expression, which is a property on JSON, which is always type, is always the word type, is expressing which type of function or which to be calling. And after this part, on this other part, you put inside always everything that is text, it's wrapped on quotes, on double quotes. So on this part, you put the name of the function. So on this silly example of walking, here we could have been set walk, but on this exact example that is a real function on Jesus script, we are asking permission. Permission. We're asking permission. I mean, a DApp is asking permission to the wallet, to the user actually, for the wallet to share the user address. So get current address, right? Okay. And on this other example here, we have another function, which is not exclusively for Cardano, of course. It's a very generic thing, which is for defining just pieces of data. Like sometimes when you code, you need to parameterize things. You need to, for example, store these 5 steps that I want to pass to this function, the walk function. 5, this somewhere. So there's constants, just piece of the memory of the program that will just some values. Okay, for example, a number 5, for example, a text, for example, whatever, right? So the function type, once again, I mean, it's for calling a specific function. So type data, data is like a function that is just for allocating, storing data on the memory of the program, right? And Martin, this died.
Uh-oh. We'll be back.
Okay. And thanks. And remember the arguments I was saying, like passing the number 5? Okay, for passing arguments, any other JSON property, like value in this case, and you can have multiple other JSON properties on this function, all of those are going to be arguments. So in this case, value is an argument. And inside this value argument for the data function, you have just a bunch of data, of data. I mean, a piece of data, which is random. I don't know. It's whatever a developer needs to store. Okay. So this is the basics. If you remember this is a function call for a get current address function. And if you remember this kind of syntax, this is, for example, a call to the data function passing this value argument. That's it. Everything see from now on this on the language is a bunch of functions and arguments, and just that. it's quite actually simple if you think about it. Okay, let's move on.
Next one.
Okay, so now imagine for those who knows programming, this can be called like subroutine, like a block of code. It's like packing, right? Packing a list of command functions inside like a box, like saying, okay, please store this list of orders in a sequence, in a specific sequence I want to execute it. And I want to handle that piece of I mean that list of functions. Maybe because I want to replicate it, or I want to have it just um, for ordering my code. Like for those who want to order the code a bit more tidy, maybe more beautiful, maybe you can just, categorize like, okay, I will pack all these commands, all these functions into just this box. And then I can, okay, it's it's free for the, I mean, it's something that the developer, yes, can decide to do. Um, Once again, who can tell me the name of this function? Perfect. And who can tell me the argument? What's the name of the argument? What's the name of the argument? Run. The name of the argument is run.
Is it a function?
No, remember,
Ah,
remember,
the
this is a function. This is a function. And everything that is not the type property are arguments.
One type data, that's another function.
Ah, yes, yes, you're right. Yes.
Ah,
Sorry,
okay.
sorry. See, but what's that actually? That's a good question. I mean, she's always like 3 steps ahead. You're great. You're doing great. No, don't be sorry. It's perfect. I mean, this is a block of code. Once again, this is a box for calling other functions. So what she was reading actually are the other functions, the inner functions stored on this block of code, right? Which is, for example, the function data, which has the argument
Yeah.
name value, and the value stored is a. So what's this then? What's result 01, result 02? It's a bit confusing. Uh, it's exactly not. That, exactly not. Sorry, but it's not. It's just a way you can just express your code. You can just, this is arbitrary naming. You can put here whatever you need for make your code more readable. In this case, actually, this is just, I mean, forget forget what forget what this is right now. Forget what this is. The whole thing is an argument. Keeping that in mind, keeping that in mind for those who knows JSON. This the value that you passed on this argument is or a list or a object, or a JSON list or a JSON object. This is why we are using the JSON objects mode for passing sub functions here. So why? Because you can just put here an arbitrary name for each piece. I mean, for each function you want to list there, and it can be, handy for programmers for just understand the code. It's more readable. Okay, but check how, for example, in this case and on this case, it's kind of similar. Forget about this line, but you have this run argument, and we are passing functions. Check how you can just express these functions on a same line, or you can just put it one down below. JSON does not care about it. If you start with this bracket and you close with this bracket a function, is valid JSON. It's valid for the language. It doesn't matter if you stash everything on a single line, or if you are using like new lines for each line. It doesn't matter. Okay, so it's just another way to show this. And Here, can you tell me the names of the functions that are in? Yeah, exactly. Get name, get current address, and get current slot. Okay, so these are real functions on the GC script language, right? But the difference between this image and this one regarding arguments of the
Okay.
script function is that that image has a new argument, which
Yeah,
is quite confusing because that argument, the name of the argument is actually args arguments. Why? Why? Because we have these three functions here inside this block of code. What if we want to pass an argument? We want to pass this kind of data, distribute this data to all the child functions, all the inner functions, these three, right? If we want to do such a thing, we need to pass like arguments to these functions. And we can pass one argument to all these functions using the args. Okay, for those who knows programming, this is kind of something, very known. What? This is script, exactly. So for those who knows programming, this is something quite common. I mean, passing arguments, but it's okay for those who are learning. It's not super important to understand these arguments things, but just please try to understand and remember the syntax. Understand that these are functions. This is the most important thing. So then when you read the code, it can be a bit intimidating at first, but then you start thinking, hey, I read a type here, meaning that I know the name of this function. Now I can recognize this piece of the code is a function. Okay, that's important for you to recognize what you are reading, if it is a function or if it is something else. This is the most important thing, just to land. It's like a container. Yes, it's como un contenedor. Exactly. Okay, let's
You
continue.
wanna go to the next one?
Next one. Okay, so remember what Martin was showing you, the user interface of this DApp connector, of this that every piece of the script of the code had a representation on the UI of the wallet. Okay, remember that
Discord.
cache,
And welcome.
cache or cache part
Uh,
on this
sorry.
status tab on the advanced
I'm off there.
section of this the app connector UI user interface.
You want-
Okay, I told
Can
you
you
that
come
that
up?
were
Yes,
the
fine.
where the memory
Welcome.
that was like a snapshot, an
Yeah.
image, a live
Right,
image
yeah.
of the memory of the wallet, the memory of the program, right? So when you want to extract things from, I mean, remember that I told you that, for example, this device can trigger a connection to the wallet can process things, and then I can return things back to the DApp. Okay, how do I return things back to the DApp? By just using the export as argument of the script function. Script function, remember, is the what we were reading on the other slide. So by just adding a name to the exports, just adding a name to the exports, like saying, okay, I'm going to export a bunch of data. I'm going to name this bunch of data like my first export. That's the name. By just doing this, you're authorizing, the developer is requesting the wallet for returning back to the DApp a piece of, a response, right? A piece of JSON data back to the DApp and under this name. So
I take the
if you actually can capture this response, for example, in this case, it will look like this. So now is a good time to understand a bit more how this thing works regarding timing, regarding the order of the execution of each function. So this is a block of code is a box that contains functions. There is a sequence of free functions, yes, which are, what functions are you reading there? Data. Okay. So the first function, we are passing the value a for what? For letting the function data to store a on the memory. If we're going to export that simple piece of data back to the DApp, the result 01 line here, because we call this line result 01, right?
Yeah.
What's the result? A. Can you see the correlation between the code and the results? Okay. And for the second one, what's the final value? B. And the third, C. Are we okay? I mean, it can be a bit confusing, but let me know if we're okay. We're okay? Oh, perfect. So this is why this arbitrary naming is important, because you can just name things, right? As you need. And only if you use export as, you are actually getting things out of the wallet. If you're not using export as, whatever happens on Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas, which is very important for privacy preserving the apps. Okay, that's important. It's not just a random mention of this. If you don't put export as, nothing will get out of the wallet. I mean, this can sound like I am explaining yet one another language, like just one more, technology, blockchain technology. That at the end of the day, we will make, like, we will be wrapping all the concepts that you will be learning, and you will understand that this language has a lot of web-free values, web-free principles, very, very, burned at the core of this wallet, at the core of this language, which are not minor things to keep in mind.
So you mean to say that that's the only way that you actually are able to send data back to the.
Yes, there is no other way, unless a user manually do something, but there is no other way for the wallet to just talk outside.
Back to the
Exactly.
whatever.
Exactly. And this is the first step for all the privacy preserving things you can accomplish with this language, because there are much more which are I mean, I like those quite much.
Yeah, and
Because,
for most DApps, there's
Yeah.
no reason to do
Yeah.
this communication.
Yeah.
It's executing scripts and contracts, and should just work on itself.
I mean, maybe a few of you have already used, for example, any other programming language on Cardano or on other blockchain. But the thing is that if you have done, at the end of the day, you will be able to compare the two models, and you will get to understand something that is very important. That is, here you don't have a back and forth a very frequent back and forth communication with the both entities, like the app and the wallet, which means that you are actually packing your intentions as a developer on the Jesus script code. Your intentions, and I mean, a bunch of your code with a very clear purpose, a very transparent purpose. You're packing all this stuff into your code, and that's it. And then it executes. And then, if you want, a reply will go back to your DApp or not. So, but this is not like the other systems that are popular nowadays on Cardano, where every single thing, like for example, back and forth, and on that back and forth, sometimes you don't have a button to say, I agree. I want this single thing, this single function. I accept this single function to run. No, you have just a connect button, and a connect button allows exactly, it's approving everything, and you don't know exactly what's going on behind, which it yeah,
Not somewhere else.
exactly. Also,
So if, for example, if it's like on period, you sign once, then you'll need protection all the time. Yeah, that's how they can bring it to the platform. And in this case, the certain amount.
You get the with the effect on your wallet, and that's the only thing that can happen.
It can, second protection afterward.
No.
Exactly. Exactly. And let's do something because we don't have this exact image, I mean, screen capture here on this slide. The key is on your computers, guys. Please check your computers right now. Image you left the last time you were dealing with the wallet. Can you see? So can I use yours?
It's a different one.
No, but I'm going to show you something. Sorry. It's someone who can everyone has closed the. Can I move back?
The transaction.
What I want to show you. Okay, it's not. Who can show me?
The QR code.
Yeah, there exactly. Can you read? Can you read the colors?
Oh, the code that X code X one time, sign transaction one time, this is the transaction.
So, but what you are actually reading is
All different
functions.
protocol
Functions. So each function
has to sign.
has a permission, which is upfront. I mean, upfront, shown to you before you start executing.
You're combining them in one.
Exactly. So in one execution, you are presented before executing the code with everything that the app wants to do with you and with you. So
You push the button, whatever.
exactly, this model differs from this famous connect button in such way that here you don't trust brands. Here you have to trust code or permissions.
Reading.
Exactly. Reading.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because you can still pick up the statement and it says 20 times.
Yeah, yeah.
That's okay.
But this is very important because yeah.
On our end, you have the name of the wallet. Game.
It sounds quite ambitious. The idea was to present an alternative. I won't for this. Uh, like the second community wallet created back then in 2021. So we did not know, we were figuring out how to connect Cardano to the world. So two wallets appeared almost at the same time, Nami and GameChanger. Nami first, 2 weeks later, GameChanger. And the thing is that now you can see that our model was very different. And this is why this wallet is different. It's not weird. It's because also we were figuring out very early. We did not know what was going to happen, right? So every function on script permissions for you to review. The difference between blind trusting the famous connect button on here and on Ethereum and everywhere because this that is common to the world. And
You do not know. This gives you the
exactly.
very, very good.
And now,
Standard.
nice, thank you. And I'm going to,
You're gonna take it everywhere.
and this is the last thing I heard from this. So, did you that all these other wallets that depend on this famous connect button, most of them, not all, most of them, are relying on injecting code, JavaScript code, automatically without your approval to every single web page you are
You visit.
browsing.
That's having your.
Can you guys tell me? so- Can you tell me what happened when you scan this QR code? Something executed automatically without your permission, or it was asking to continue or not?
There are multiple continues, yeah.
Yes, all
There is no code injection under this model,
okay.
and all that what is stored on these URLs or QR codes is fully auditable. Fully,
Cool.
what she has said is the Web3 value that motivate. Actually, if you are not fully in control of what's happening with your wallet, you can have control of your keys in theory, but you're kind of blind trusting an intermediate that is telling you what's good or not for you. Here,
I could have one first variable of the here. Then let a long time ago, so when we started together. And but you could have one, okay, I trust this guy and everything will continue. I could do that. If it's your code, I would just
And they
do
get
that.
you
It's integrated. It's a little volatile.
still happens if the brand, the team you are trusting gets hacked. We are here.
Oh,
Did you remember the verify?
yes.
Don't trust, verify. Well, don't trust, verify. Trust what I'm saying, what I'm doing, the code I'm writing. The, even don't trust. But remember, should have means to. And this is the idea. Always transparent. Everything that is going to happen on your wallet is there for you to first review. And of course, it's amazing because it foster a building this way because everything is right there on any to JavaScript to Rust, Haskell. It's universal. Yeah, the thing is that this is running on your wallets. Remember that this is important. This is running on your wallets, and part of this will eventually run or impact on Cardano, right? On the protocol, which is important to get that part because, guys, this also helps decentralizing the apps because this part of the apps are running, but are running where? On user devices, not on a centralized backend, not on a centralized application. This is running client side. Okay, let's move on. It was
We
important.
get it. We get it.
It was important. It was important.
That's la organización.
This is what you were asking. So remember when we have this, for example, these free functions listed on a block of code. Imagine that each function, as shown before, has a result, right? Which is stored on this cache memory. So, but what happens if the subsequent functions, like for example, this function number 2 on the list, needs to consume, needs to use on its arguments part or the entirety of the result of the previous function, like making plumbing, like connecting one function to the other. How can we wire chaining these functions? How? So here is where another concept appears on this language, which is inline scripting language, ISL, which is, for those who knows JavaScript, is JavaScript is a subset of JavaScript syntax. that what is just a piece of text that you can embed right on the Jesus script code for doing things like, for example, doing this plumbing, like connecting the result of one function as a to pass this as an argument for another function. So in this case, this example, and let us know if you can read this. Maybe it's very tiny. It's very small. Can we zoom? Maybe this. Okay. It's a bit ugly, a bit pixelated, but you can read it probably. So uh, forget about this part. It's not relevant right now. Here we have this script, this block of code, right? Here you have two functions. You have a type get current address, so this is a function, and you have type macro, which is another function. You have a block of code with two functions. One first, next the other one. The idea for privacy preserving matters is that sometimes you deal with JPEG Store, but actually you're never revealing directly to JPEG Store who you are. And this is the beginning for building these kind of applications.
Unless you buy something and then.
Yes. Yes, but actually, if you have been scanning the QR code and you are doing what you're saying, for example, it's hard for JPEG Store to know your IP address, to know your device, which so there is where it's privacy preserving because depending how you connect, you're not leaking, for example, your IP address directly to them, so they cannot match who you are with your financial persona on the chain.
You could even copy it, air gap it, or
This is just thinking things differently from the very beginning. Just that, because this is the version 2 of the wallet nowadays. But from 2021, this was very much, I mean, was much simpler than this. But actually was the same principle. Wallet side, off-chain building. We will get there, but like wallet side processing of certain things that we usually tend to delegate to the apps. If we give too much power to the apps, we are making our intermediates bigger. Yeah. Now and now you there is something, the one thing I'm going to say, you you can fully, and this is very important, now you, if you think about what you have been doing on your devices, you can now maybe get the idea about getting rid of the app. Like, for example, if this QR code is static, it's not changing, because this QR code change for each one of you to scan it previously, or it was static?
It was
It was static, but it adapted perfectly to each point of view, for your individual points of view, for your wallet, addresses and funds. So this means that once you understand, you can just make a copy of this connection and get rid of the intermediate. So it's a almost direct connection between the user and the chain itself. Just the wallet, of you need the wallet at least. The wallet at least. No, that no, you can say it's a mix, but it's important to keep in mind that this is a wallet. Because if we get rid of that category, I mean, we're saying this cannot be handled sorry, by a wallet. Okay, 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 okay. We have to figure it out the right point of. Okay, so yes, how we do it? How we do it? We, on the first line here, we require permission from the wallet to share the user address, and this will be stored on the memory of the program. And then the second function, which is macro, will run on, we pass this ISL thing code here on this argument. And here, as you can see, here is a bit different. You have everything is also a function here. It's similar, but the syntax is different. You have the name of the function, and then you wrap arguments inside parentheses. This is the tiny difference between the two languages. And here is a SHA 512 hashing algorithm over whatever we pass as argument. And what are we passing as argument? We are calling another nested function that is called get, because it just do that. It gets stuff from where? From the memory of the program. And the memory of the program is called cache. So if you
we
say
already
cache
saw that before.
root address,
because it's get current address.
you're
Should it
accessing
address?
what you name. It's like naming a variable on programming. Okay, don't get this right away on the first time. Don't worry, because this is, you get to master this by doing practices. But keep in mind that when you read, especially when you read get and something between parentheses, is the trick. we use to make plumbing, to connect the output, the results of one function to another one. Okay? And this is where it differs strongly from, for example, CIP30, which is the standard that most wallets and dApps are using, for example, on Cardano, where you cannot do this and where you miss a lot of privacy preserving possibilities for your code. And once again, because we said export as here under my private wallet data name, the result on exports is my private wallet data. And here goes the hash of a user's address. Because this code, remember, is generic, works on your wallet, on your wallet, on your wallet, generic. The idea is to express intention, not only express, some code that only works for you or for you. It's a generic code.
Also, you can still cancel.
Say it again. Perfect. Say it again. Say it again because someone is great.
You can see at the end of your transaction, you have to confirm that what you're sending back as exports
Okay.
is still what you want, and you can cancel it.
The potestad in Spanish.
Exactly.
Power,
The power
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
cancel returning data back to the DApp.
is still fine. Good.
So you maybe are watching, you're reviewing this UI, the app connector UI. You're watching that at the end of the execution, you will be presented with the information that the wallet, the result that the wallet should be connecting to the DApp. But if you read something that you don't like, or you're not trusting the process, you just cancel. That's it. And for example, you can copy that and transparency, privacy percent, giving back control to the user of the user keys. So there is now nobody forcing you to do anything. You have full control over your keys.
I don't know if you can see the video.
A very Bitcoiner point of view. ¿Sí?
Oh, bueno, nunca lo
No, pero se puede, se puede. Por eso te digo, hay muchos valores Web3. Y es apasionante, por lo menos para mí. The commutation for cash. Yeah. No, the things that you decide the cache. The cache is the actual the memory that you are creating when the code is getting executed. This is the cache, and check this. This function, remember, script run. Here you have a list of functions, right? You name this one stage one build transaction because you wanted to name it that way. Oh,
This is called stage one build transaction.
so this is where this mapping happens, where whatever you code in the order you code, and this is important, whatever you code on the order you code it here is the same on the results. It's the same on the results. This we call morphism of the language, because whatever you design here, it will end up creating a data structure that mimics your design. Isomorphism. It's like a kind of a mirror situation where you have the same kind of structure that what you code and on the results. So yeah, going back.
Next one.
Okay, let's move. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Are,
is
are
the-
we are we okay with okay?
Um, I come the window. Mira la ventana,
Necesitas volver entrar en GameChanger.finance. Y ahí
Ahí ya me la estaba ocupando.
Pero no, porque tenés la versión mainnet y testnet. Entonces, senior.finance.
Sorry?
Esa, entra ahí. Eso.
Thank you.
Welcome. Dale.
No. All the services are somewhere else. I've been helping Adriano since 2021, almost since the beginning. I can do something.
De verdad, mucho
Not everything.
exagerado. Amor, el backend está descentralizado también de la wallet. Ya vamos a llegar ahí. Pero es una exageración de Web3 que no se puede. Es como 3 años y medio de mucha.
Do we go through this one? It's a little bit extra, but
Yes, no, it's okay because this one will here this code. We will be actually doing something interesting,
Maybe
Wait,
2000.
yeah, it's
which is
time for the
payments
interesting
exactly,
bits.
which is what maybe why we're here to use the blockchain for doing transactions. But can you go one back, please?
I'm going too fast.
There. So this is collapsed. I mean, this is the basic structure. Once again, script. So this is a block of code. We have 3 functions that will be called here. This is the basic structure for any transaction on maybe any blockchain, but especially on Cardano. In regard of it implies a building stage where you design the transaction. You design, for example, if you want to make a payment, you have to write the instructions for the payment from then hand this information to the blockchain, to the nodes that conform the blockchain, right? So to write this piece of information, we always say like this is like building the transaction. This is the first stage of most of the dapps you use every day. The second one, because until here, sorry, until
Go
until,
too fast.
until here,
Yes,
until here, that's it. Nothing. Until here, we're safe. Our funds are safe because nobody has signed anything. So nobody has approved anything. So until here, it's just a piece of data. But then on stage 2, when we will be using our private keys of our wallets to sign this piece of data, which is the transaction, until here, I mean, on this stage is where things actually start to make sense. And you put, you approve the spending, for example, of funds or doing something else with your private keys. And even then, even here, nothing happens yet because you can just throw this away. Exactly. If you're not sending this to the outer world, to the blockchain, this can die with you on your device, on your computer, and nothing will happen until or unless you submit this piece of information that is already signed with your signature to the blockchain. So 3 basic steps that makes, for example, a payment on blockchain possible. 3 basic building steps. So let's now
Yeah.
deeper. Deep. Martin is like Formula One. I told him
I have no time. I have no time.
I called him Aston Martin because his name is Martin. I say, okay, but this is important. Sorry. Proof?
Of the signing, we submit, yes.
No. Yes, that's a good point. So some functions, you start. Remember the continue button at the beginning? You are agreeing there to start executing the code, but some things are a bit dangerous. For example, when you sign a transaction, you can be, signing your death sentence. so so the idea the, imagine that. So the idea is to also the wallet also asks you right there once again if you want to sign the transaction, and you will be presented with a, like on any wallet, with a view where you can review every single piece of your transaction to see if you are agreeing with it. So yes, so some functions also have extra extra steps that you have as a user, you have to follow. You have to confirm, for example, review and click on sign when you call the sign function. But on the build function, nothing will stop this function unless you don't have fans. Nothing will be presented to you because it's harmless. Building transactions, I mean, I can make a transaction right now, spending all Charles Hoskison's funds to send those to me, but without his signature, yeah, we cannot do anything. So he's super safe. Okay, so now this is important. The build transaction function type build tx build transaction is one of the most, if we can say, complex functions of this language, because you can do a lot of stuff. Cardano is a very, I mean, it's a very feature-rich blockchain where everything is bundled there for you to consume different actions, like not just sending. Of course, you have smart contracts, you have staking, you have now governance features, you have a lot of metadata. For example, you can just store data right directly on the blockchain. So every single transaction feature is here for you to consume. But let's only keep the basics today, which is the outputs, if we can say feature. Outputs,
Get current block. Only there's a get current block. First have to get a current block where you have to put a transaction.
get current block, like knowing,
The current block.
Yeah,
yeah,
blockchain.
you mean
current spot.
Slot number.
okay, current slot. I mean, yes, it's related to the detail of the
You can set TTL.
that. This is a very good question. I mean, for some things, and this is important, some things by default are automated for you, for not worrying about things that makes no difference. So because what could, I mean, you want to make a payment, why you would care for knowing which look? So it's a great question, and the answer is you can consume, for example, ask for the current block or slot actually, and then configure the TTL, the time to live of the transaction. But if you don't want to, this defaults to nothing, so it will live forever. Exactly. Exactly. So the wallet makes it simple. So this is why, if you have been building transactions before on Cardano by code, and and he's laughing because I bet
Yeah,
he knows what I'm
it's
talking
fun.
about. Inputs, coin selection. So it's hard. I mean, to be honest, Cardano is a beautiful blockchain, but dealing with the lower, I mean, the deeper you get to the chain, it gets hard. My job as a tool maker, as the maker of this wallet, is to make lives easier for you. So if you don't need to mess with that deep stuff, it defaults to the basics you need to just make it work. So in this case, coin selection, coin selection, meaning, I mean, we have not covered UTXO model. I think we can keep it this way for a bit longer to keep it simple for those who don't know what UTXO model is. But the idea is that the wallet have by default some coin selection algorithms that are being executed every time you need to build a transaction, and those are managed in such a way. And this is another nice thing of Game Changer is that you can have on a single script more than one transaction.
And then you have.
I'm not saying, yeah,
I don't know.
but I'm not. She's right. She's saying something that is, but I'm meaning not outputs, transactions. So you can have multiple outputs on a single transaction. This is an output. You can have multiple on a single transaction, or you can have also multiple transactions in one script.
Okay. No, they have.
Is there a size limit to the script? I mean, you know,
That's a good one. In practice, there is a size limit imposed by browsers, but and we will get imposed by browsers.
Okay.
In practice, I mean, there is like no standard. It's like there was some values there on the internet on some standards, but each browser decides differently the size. So it's important. What you're asking is a good question because, of course, if we build a huge, a very large code, we will have issues everywhere. QR codes already are a bit ugly because of the amount of data we're stashing there, but we have features for solving that. But
not like transaction limit, because now we can chain transaction, right? So each transaction is 60 kilobytes. The question is, the script that ending at the end of the transaction.
the length of the thread.
Script. Right, right.
Okay, you want a spoiler alert
Yes.
for how to solve huge scripts? Okay, what if we store files on chain? Okay, it's done since more than 2 years now. We will get there on the afternoon. There is a on-chain file system, which is our decentralized GitHub on Cardano blockchain, where wherever that's not fit on your QR codes or on your links, you can put it there for you to also share with other developers as a GitHub on chain on Cardano. This is called GCFS, Game Changer 5 system. Sorry. but but we will talk about this on the afternoon. But it's a great question. And yes, you're right. You should try to keep this as short as possible. And whatever does not fit, try to move it on chain. Okay. Or maybe you can figure it out on some other ways. But yeah, let's, okay. Let's go. He's like super fast. Very quickly, very quickly. Do you want to explain this part, Martin?
No, transaction builder, you would need to balance your whole transaction, inputs and outputs. Be exactly the same.
Sure.
You will already get the necessary via smarts. So you're requesting game changer will look your don't have select game UTXOs and create a transaction that keeps your wallet healthy, and that means it keeps a reasonable amount of UTXOs in your wallet. That's what the transaction for you. So it makes also the developer of his life much easier and user sometimes because you have stories of people have some kind of thing happen where the wallet UTXO so no or there's and in that case it's always up to the DApp to make the right choice. And with Game Changer, you have a central point where the choices are always same, and the developer has always a high standard of keeping your wallet healthy. Yeah, the wallet, you have only one UTX that will make more for you.
the idea is to avoid delegating the apps things that you should be carrying yourself or the wallet should be carrying for you because UTXOs, for example, when you need to use UTXOs, you need to use the funds on your wallet. Depending on the structure and how these funds has been returned back to your wallet, you make a transaction, right? And the change output, the change back comes back to your wallet. But if on other cases, on other systems, the apps design this change back, right? And this design can harm your user experience. So here on Game Changer, we are in advance, we are like seeding new UTXOs for you all the time for having a healthy UTXO set. And this is important because when we reach on the afternoon, the part where we're talking about the game changer file system, you will understand why this is important. Because if you want to store an image on Cardano, it won't fit on one transaction. You have to split it among many transactions. And this is why UTXO set coin selection is important for us. And we try to keep always a healthy UTXO set for you guys, for the users. No, no, no. I think I cannot say if it's safe or not. I think it's safe. I've listened a lot of yes, and the thing is that that's needed because on other other wallets are delegating this to the apps, and the apps are messing all the time.
So all of it's one transaction, send it to your phone. And then yeah, so they only one.
Which is actually right because you can connect, for example, Nami Eternal to Game Changer actually, and then you can just you import. I mean, you just connect the wallet like on any other app. You will see. Maybe then we can test that. And but the idea is that you can do then one transaction to yourself, for example, and that's it. Game Changer should trigger this helping, yes, the fixing mechanism. Yes. Yes.
But my assumption here is that if you're saying the problem, because they don't have the quantity wallet that you work with, they can't pull profit out. They can, all, yeah, so, yeah.
This case, GameChanger Wallet does it for browser.
But I'm just trying to get an understanding.
And they have to create their own wallet. So they could do anything.
Can tell you that exceptional type of none of them are able to electrify, you always have to send yourself the money back if you want to do like transaction that's bigger than your like your one UTXO. Yeah. You just try to follow.
Yeah, it's a selection, not a task.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Also, yes.
No, yeah, they coded by somebody who is not that great at program. Can create a million UTXOs in your wallet,
Right, yeah.
by accident. And you won't even see it.
Just a big sign.
Yeah, you care about the balance, then yes.
And what you're saying
think
is,
so, I
that-
think-
yeah, what you're saying within the context of game change is, hey, we've done a smart point selection system, we've made it consistent, everything else like that, whereas there's a lot of inconsistency in the point selection algorithms that we. It's smarter to point selection help.
Because the wallet builder is usually much bigger expert.
A whole different task. And point selection is a single task which you don't need to let a million people do. Or duplicating them.
since 2021, or yeah, 2021, we introduced two concepts. Of course, coin selection was something that Cardano was using on the apps already, but we introduced the concept of change optimizer, which is also something similar to coin selection, but the other way around. Is like some are these are sort of algorithms that helps you program in advance the UTXOs that are going to come back to your wallet. The change outputs, the change that is going to come back when you make a payment, this change come back to the wallet for this change to come back in a way that is healthy, that is not going to mess your future transactions. Because on Cardano, we depend on this transaction history. We are calling this UTXOs. When we talk about UTXOs, it's this. So going back to you. Ye- Exactly. And it's balancing. And it's balancing. And because you were coming today, guys, and you were quite a lot for consuming it at the same time, I sent one or two transactions from the testnet facet today to this airdrop wallet, and I did not have enough UTXOs. So this is why most of you or some of you were competing over the same change outputs. And some of you have been experiencing these errors today regarding the airdrop, because I mean the testnet airdrop system is just for testnet. It's not something super, you know. Uh, but yeah, this is important because every single one of you may have contributed to add more health to that, common treasury um, system for the airdrop. Just that. What, last thing, last thing, very basic steps. We need to send funds to someone else. Three questions: who, how much, and where. I mean, who, how much, and what. Sorry, who, how much, and what. Right. So who, we pass here on this argument. We pass the address of the person that will receive our payment. This is the address, right? Then the what we want to send. So we have to define which coin or token or NFT, the asset we want to send. In this case, when you say ADA and ADA here on policy ID and asset name, which are two things that are very Cardano-ish, that are terms that are very from how Cardano works, and those defines the tokens and the native coin of Cardano. So by using these two parameters, these two properties, we are saying what we want to send. That's the what. If we say ADA and ADA, we are going to be sending ADA. In this case, remember, it's testnet ADA, the ADA, because we're on testnet. And finally, how much? The quantity.
You need to like both the ID and that thing to find white soup. Why not?
Counts. Because some systems, I mean, for tokens and for NFTs, you need both. You always need both. Policy ID is usually a hash. Sorry, Teo, say it again. Exactly. Exactly. So,
Both the ID and
but the thing is that some systems used to use ADA here as a special case for defining the coin of the chain, which is ADA. So when you just say ADA here, both on asset name and policy ID, you're referring to the coin of the wallet. And here the magic, the security happens because you cannot pass ADA for referring to any other token, because here you usually pass a hash. So here, there's no way to confuse, to get confused or mess it up, because if you say ADA there on policy ID, it's ADA. And finally, quantity. We will explain this later, but 1 million here, this number is one ADA.
yeah.
Okay, remember that. Lovelaces, exactly, exactly. It's like our like cents, our subdivisions. Yeah, it's like Satoshis on Bitcoin. So 1 million Lovelaces equals 1 ADA, and this is expressed on uh and Lovelaces. So just keeping it simple, 1 million is 1 ADA. Period.
About data, web also optional.
What part? What do you mean?
Right? Final data, one is one acre, the rest needs some technical.
Yeah, yes, it's automated. That's automated. And the thing is that you will see, you can review this always prior accepting everything, review the transactions. You will see how on some cases, more than one change output will appear without you expressly saying so, because there is the wallet trying, applying the change optimizer algorithm to try to fix or to make your UTXO more healthy. That is the
The
magic
address
that we were talking.
on the there's
Empty string for ADA. Yes, yes. Because, for example, some APIs, when you query the blockchain with some APIs are using this standard. And remember, Game Changer is very old. This is from 2021. So at the beginning, I don't remember if it was Cardano GraphQL or some of those early APIs were using this. So we stick to this. What? Just remember this, and you're okay. No, no, no. I mean, we never changed this. Yes. Oral. Okay. It's a question. No, I'm not. I don't remember on the seaboard of the transaction. I don't remember exactly how that is expressed.
ADA.
But I know it's no. Yes, but I think he's mentioning the seaboard structure. I forgot right now. We can check that, but
Replace
it's empty string.
something.
Okay.
It's empty, actually. Yeah.
We can then
Empty string.
you have a built-in seaboard decoder to JSON, or even a link to go to a seaboard decoder online on the review on the transaction review UI. So we will be checking this later. Good question. So that's it. This is all you need to make a payment
Is it?
on Cardano. Let's move on now. Sorry. No, I will do this. I will do this super quick. I have less 2 minutes. Sign. How do we sign? The function is sign transactions. It receives more than one if you want. And once again, this is ISL, inline scripting language. Remember, the get function retrieves the result of the, for example, of a previous function. In this case, cache dot build one. Build one is here. So the result of this function is the draft, the transaction without the signatures. So you are connecting, plumbing the output of this function here as an argument here for the sign transaction using this line of code, which is ISL, this inline scripting language. Okay? So this is how we connect, and this is how you provide the transaction for the sign transaction to sign it. Then we do the same trick with the submit transactions function, again, plural. You can pass more than one, and and, and we connect the output of the sign transaction, which is the transaction structure, plus the signatures of the user approving the transaction. That piece of data, you're plumbing it, you're connecting it or passing it from here to here, again with the get function cache dot sign to, because this is sign to, we name it. When you reach here at this point and you execute this, point of no return, unless you don't have internet connection. but you're right. You're right. And that's it. And that's it. Break. Break.
Yay!
Break. Okay. Yep. You want? Te podemos pasar el link de los slides. Pero te ayuda un montón. Te entiendo, te entiendo. Haces bien. Sí, sí. Después le vamos, antes de que se vayan, les vamos a mostrar por lo menos los nombres, la lista de todas las funcionalidades que tienen disponibles. Esto es solo, imagínense el file system, construir aplicaciones que guardan directamente los datos del código y los datos también, si quieren, lo que quieran, on-chain como archivos. Hasta podés guardar HTML on-chain, lo hemos hecho. O sea que Cardano funciona directamente como un cloud hosting, descentralizadísimo, y que es lo que guardes ahí va a vivir hasta que se destruya Cardano. Que es como, ¿a qué vinimos a la blockchain? A esto.
Un pecado mío.
Ningún pecado. El tiempo. Bueno, pero Eternal es un lindo proyecto, pero me encantaría que nos fusionemos, que sumemos la potencia de las dos wallets para hacer una super mega wallet simple para el usuario que la usa a diario, pero también avanzadísima para el usuario developer. ¿Qué es esto? Es esto. Una mezcla.
No tiene que ver con lo que eso está excelente.
Sí, sí, sí. Cierto. Es una radicalización cyberpunk desde el core, desde el y en algunos casos hemos tenido mucho éxito y en algunos por algunos detallitos de UX no, pero se ha hecho el mejor, o sea, he tratado de hacer el mejor esfuerzo de llevar toda esta complejidad a un wizard, porque fíjense, es como un wizard, como un paso a paso, para que, siguiente. Entonces, yo entiendo que puede ser intimidante, pero solo si te pones a ver por debajo. ¿Cuántos de ustedes que habían visto un poquito la wallet, habían visto todo esto que hay detrás? Pe- pero viste que está bastante escondido para el usuario, digamos, para que no volverlo loco. Ok, ok. A este nivel. Bueno, y las transacciones, tenés un decoder de las transacciones gráficos donde puedes ver todo gráficamente hasta con tarjetitas. ¿Vieron? Los assets son tarjetas de colores. Y la interfaz de envío, que se llama Smart